Today we're talking about mezcal, and we're doing a tasting of Los Vecinos del Campo right here on the Tequila Hombre next. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Tequila Hombre. Today we're talking about mezcals, and I know you're probably thinking, hey, why are you talking about mezcals when this is a tequila channel? It's called the Tequila Hombre after all, right? Well, to break it to you nicely, tequila is a mezcal. Yes, but there are some big differences between the two of them. Some of the differences are, number one, the region in which they're produced. Tequila has to be produced within the tequila producing region of Jalisco, Mexico, where mezcal can be produced in 8 different regions of Mexico. There's 8 mezcal producing regions. Another big difference is the type of agave used. In tequila, you can only use Weber Blue Agave. With mezcal, there are 5 different kinds of agave that are specified, but then the norma goes on to say that you can use any agave that has enough sugar content to produce it. So that opens it up to like between 30 to 50 different types of agaves that can be used in producing mezcal. Now, there are also some production differences in that the piñas for mezcals are actually cooked in a pit in the ground. And then inside the pit, they basically lay down some wood that they set on fire, and they get it burning, and then they cover it with rocks, and then they cover it with some fiber on top of the rocks, and then they put the piña in, and then they cover that with more fiber on top of it. It creates a steamy environment, but it also creates a smoky environment. And that's where mezcal gets its smokiness from the way it's cooked. Now, crushing is pretty much the same. It is crushed with a tahona, or what they call molina, a mill. Tequila also is tahona crushed, but also they use roller mills and other types of crushing devices. There's a screw mill as well that can be used with tequila. Fermentation happens with mezcal in wooden vats, and it is 2-time distilled in copper pot stills. First time distilled, it comes out at 37.5%, and then the second time it comes out at 55%. And typically, mezcals are also higher proof than tequilas, unless it's a high proof tequila. But typically, you can expect to see mezcals at around 45% or higher. You do find them at 40%, but those typically aren't the better ones. The better ones are typically coming in at 45% or higher. Now, the flavor profile is a lot different as well, where you get that smokiness. We really don't get smokiness in tequila. You might get hints of smokiness, but it's not as smoky and doesn't have the smoke flavor that mezcals do. And that's why you'll find people that like tequila but do not like the smokiness of a mezcal. And you have people that like mezcals that like that smokiness and like the complexity that the flavor profile has, where they think tequila is too plain or simple for them. Okay, so now let's dive into our tasting and check out the tequila we're tasting, Los Vecinos del Campo, which is made in the Oaxaca region of Mexico using the agave espadin. Now, let's kind of dive down a little bit and take a look at the bottle and see what that's all about. All right, taking a look at the bottle. As you can see, it says Oaxaca, Mexico. It's Los Vecinos del Campo, Oaxaca, Mexico. Nice tapestry design. And then at the bottom it says espadin, which is the agave that they use. 100% maguey, which is 100% agave. Joven, which means it's a blanco, unaged. Same as like a blanco in tequila. Mezcal artisanal, and then Hecho in Mexico, made in Mexico. Then the NOM number, which is, identifies the distillery in which it's made. The CRM, which is the organization that makes sure they abide by the rules, the laws governing mezcal and tequila. And then 45% by volume, 90 proof. And then on the back, the label goes over a little bit about their history and then how it's made, the processes they use, their website, lot number, and then who it's produced by, and then of course it's imported by Sazerac, and then a government warning. And that's pretty much all that's on the bottle besides the tax label. And that is it. So we're going to go back up and do the tasting now. All right, so now let's get into the tasting. I'm going to be using a glass that was specifically designed for tasting high-proof mezcals. This is a Jarrito, and it's produced by Chisholm Trail Glasses by Romeo Haristov. And I can put a link in the description below where you can find out where to buy these. These glasses are great for tasting high-proof spirits like mezcals, raicillas, sotols, and other mezcal type of agave spirits. You can also use them for high-proof tequilas. So we're going to pour a little bit of this. Take a look at it. So first, looking at the appearance of it in the glass, you can see it's got some good legs to it. You can see it sticking to the glass there. Some tears. You can see it sticking all to the glass there. See the tears, the legs right there. So it's got some good viscosity to it. Let's check out the nose. Oh, first thing you get off is the smoke. Now, I'm not a really big fan of smoky mezcals, so I'm hoping the smoke on this is not overpowering, because I do not like heavy smoke. That's probably one of the reasons, too, why I'm not a Scotch drinker. You do get the heavy smoke. A little bit of a sweetness from the agave. Lots and lots of smoke. I get primarily smoke. But there is a little bit of sweetness from the agave. A little grassiness to it. A little vegetal notes to it. But that smoke is the primary thing I get from it on the nose. So let's take a taste and see what we think. I'm hoping it's not very smoky. It's not very smoky at all. I get the cooked agave in the front, followed by some grassy notes, some vegetal notes. A little bit of fruitiness. Baking spices comes through very nicely on it. And a little fruitiness to it, like pear. Maybe a little grapefruit. And then right at the end, it finishes with the smokiness. Now it's 45%, 90 proof. There's not a whole lot of burn to it. There's a little bit of burn, a little peppery burn on the finish. And just a hint of smokiness, which I don't mind at all. I actually don't mind when it's overpoweringly smoky. I don't like that. So I have one down here I'll do a review of later that I thought after tasting it, it tasted like licking a truck tire. It was overly smoky and rubbery. This one is not that. This one, I get the baking spices like from the cooked agave, the sweetness. I get fruitiness from it. And the fruitiness lingers. And then I get a hint of smokiness towards the end. But then it kind of finishes with that cooked agave taste. Yeah. This is not bad. I think I paid $27.99 for it in the store locally here at Total Wine. But you should take a look for it. Again, it's Los Vecinos Del Campo. Oops, there we go, right there. If you don't like really smoky stuff, this might be the one for you to try. I'm going to finish the rest of this. I enjoy it. I say if you don't like smokiness, overly smoky stuff, you want a good balanced mezcal, this is a good one to try. Check it out. You won't be sorry. That's it for today, right here on the Tequila Hombre. Please, if you like this video, subscribe, click the little bell to get notifications of new videos coming up. We have some great content coming up for you in the future. And more importantly, enjoy your tequila and mezcal, and salud.